Hi, this is Seth Ressler. I am the digital dot connector for Jacobs Media. And in this short video tutorial, I'm going to show you how I take a podcast episode that has just been posted and proactively share it on social media. In particular, we're going to share it on Facebook and on Twitter. And I want to be very proactive about this because we published a podcast episode. There's a number of people who are mentioned in the podcast episode, and I want to make sure that they know that they're mentioned and make it easy for them to share a link over their own social networks so that their followers will find it and click through and hopefully listen to the podcast episode, because that's really what's going to make it go viral. So this is a podcast episode that was just published on the All Access website. This is an interview that I did with Fred Jacobs at the 2015 Worldwide Radio Summit in Hollywood, California. I've been publishing a series of interviews from there. This is actually episode number 2, and an interview that I published with my boss, Fred Jacobs, before he was even my boss. So let me show you how it works. Now, I use a tool here called Hootsuite to manage social media. And there's a number of different social media management tools out there that you can use. TweetDeck is a popular one. There's others as well, but the one that I've been using for a long time is Hootsuite, which I can use to manage a number of different social networks. You can see I'm managing my personal account, my Jacobs Media account, some other various accounts that I work with. And in particular, I am going to use a tool, if you go into tools here, called the Hootlet, and I'm going to use it with the Chrome browser. This is a little extension. It puts an owl right up here in the bar, as you can see, and what that does is if I'm on a web page and I want to share it, I just click the little owl and a pop-up window shows up, and it's going to take the title of the page and a link so that I can easily share it. There it is, 25. And so I usually go in and I might change the title here. I can choose a different social network. So let's say I want to share this over my personal account. And I can just say, I interviewed FN Jacobs at the 2015 Worldwide. I like to use a hashtag when I'm on Twitter. Oops. Here, the interview here. And then, of course, we want to put All Access in as well. And I've got a couple of options. I can post it now. I can post it later and schedule when I want it to go out. Or I can even just auto-schedule and let Hootsuite decide when to send this out. So this is great, but what's going to happen here is, now Fred Jacobs is obviously going to notice this post, and hopefully he's going to turn around and share it over his social media account. Hopefully All Access will do the same. So that's why you want to include on Twitter the Twitter handle of people, and we're also going to do some Facebook as well. That's how you use the Hootsuite Hootlet. Now, let's look at the page that I published here on the All Access website. This is, if we scroll down, you can see I give people options for subscribing to the podcast. They can actually play the interview here. So that's the podcast episode. And then I have what I call a show notes page. And show notes, lots of people call this show notes page, is something that's very common that podcasters do, which is when they publish a podcast episode, they include a list of links to things that are mentioned in the podcast. So here's a number of things that Fred mentioned over the course of our interview, and I've created a list of links so that if people listen to the podcast episode and they want to know more about something that they heard about in the episode, they can come to this show notes page and easily click on a link and find out more about it. I encourage radio morning shows in particular to do a show notes page for every morning show that they do, and to follow this exact same process that I'm doing with the podcast for the radio morning show. It's a great way to be proactive about your social media presence. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take, I'll take a couple of things in here. I'll grab a couple links. We would do this for all the links. I'm not going to do it for all the links in this video demo, but I'm going to grab a couple and open a link in a new tab. We'll open Jake Apps. That's our sister company, Amplify Media, things like that. So these are some of the things that were mentioned. And so now I've got some more websites open, and you can see. And now here's what we're going to do with those different websites. So I'm going to go to each site, and I am going to look for the social media links, particularly Facebook and Twitter. There it is. I'm going to open that and open that in a new tab. Go to Jake Apps. I'm sure we can find the social media on here as well. There it is. It's often in the header or the footer of the site. open each of those, and then we'll go to Amplify, and there on Twitter, right? Great. Once I've got that, I can actually close the main pages. All I need is the social media open. So what I am looking for when I go to, actually, let's start with Twitter. We'll do Twitter first, and then we'll come back and we'll do. So these are the Twitter accounts. If you're not signed in, you should sign in. I'm going to log in here to the Jacobs Media. Oops. Account. Great. There we go. And if you aren't already following a page, make sure you follow it. You can add it to a list too if you want. And then we want to grab the Twitter handle. We want to go back to this page, and we want to click the Hootlet button, open up this little pop-up window, and let's write something very specific. And it's really important to be, you want to kind of rave about whoever you're talking about in the podcast episode. You want to, really be excited about them being in there. So this is MMQ. Let's say the first classic rock station that worked with was, and then we're going to paste that in there. Something like that. So this is the kind of thing that I think they would be likely to see. They'd say, oh, yeah, that's cool. They're saying good things about us. We'll retweet this. Hear about it here. Uh-oh. And you can see if my post is too long, it starts to say that. We don't need that. I guess we're going to, there we go. All right. And we will go ahead and send that out. I'm actually probably going to send that out of my personal, and we'll go ahead and auto schedule that to send out. Right? And so same thing, again, because I've already logged into Twitter, I can now actually just refresh, and now I'll be logged in. I'm already following, oh, look, they're following me too. And again, we're going to go back here, click the Hootlet button, and here, Evan Jacobs talk about the launch of the mobile app company JCaps. Again, you could even be even more complimentary. I think these guys are likely to retweet it, though, because, well, they're our sister company. They're right down the hall. And again, this I might, and again, because this is at all access, they may retweet it as well. And let's just go ahead and auto schedule that. Great. So the scheduled. And, we'll do the same with Amplify Media here as well. And so on. And so you see how that works. Now, let's go over to Facebook and find the Facebook accounts with this. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that when you post, you are actually posting as your page, not as your personal account. So there we go. I want to post this as Jacobs Media. And again, we want to do something, complimentary here, and we want to post a link, something similar. The first classic rock station that Fred Jacobs had the honor of working with was hear him tell the, and you can be a little longer here because Facebook gives you a little more room. Hear him tell the story in our latest all access podcast episode. And we post the link right there. There it is. And we can go ahead and publish it. Now, not all pages will necessarily let you post to them. It depends on how they've set the post. They may need to approve it first, or maybe they don't allow posts, or maybe they do allow posts, but it doesn't automatically show up. It really depends on how they're running their page. Same thing here. We're going to post that link. Oh, in fact, actually, here's one, Jake Epps. See, doesn't allow anybody to post. There's no option to post here, so you can't do it. So it really depends on the page. You won't find that you'll be able to do it with everyone, but do it for as many as you can. This is something that once you get in the habit of understanding how to do this, you could actually set up an intern to do it and give them instructions. I think the key is really to just really be complimentary in your posts and really be specific. Don't write something like, hey, you were mentioned in our podcast episode. Give some context to it, give some explanation to it, and be proactive about it. I mean, we're going to go through all of these links and do it. Some of them will turn around and reshare it. Some of them won't. Often really, really big companies won't. I doubt Apple or Google are going to sit there and retweet our podcast episode, but they might. You never know. So you always want to do as much as possible and see what happens. But that's what I do with every single podcast episode. Take the show notes page and really share it out there actively so that people will notice. Thanks for listening. I am Seth Ressler, and if you have any questions or want help with your digital strategy for your radio station, please feel free to shoot me an email. I am seth@jacobsmedia.com. Also, if you get a moment, check out this podcast episode, this interview in particular. It was really good. I think you'll enjoy it. You can find it in iTunes and Stitcher and Audio Boom and a number of other places. Plus, it's over at the All Access website. Thanks.